Hello, I'm back at school now. Check out one of my favorite projects I've been working on. Sandy, I call him. He's a digital sprite I built on the extra space in my computer's hard drive. I've been developing him for my integrated online course. Because he's comprised of mostly artwork and code, he's super easy to ship around anywhere on the web with an email and an internet connection. I thought it was time to make a new video about art, so I packed up Sandy and sent him to pick us up a bit of inspiration to help get things started. Someplace large, preoccupied. It'd be harmless, really. Somewhere where no one would notice if a copy of something went missing. Nowadays, Sandy spends most of his time in this virtual room I whipped up for him. Somehow our special order package never arrived. Luckily, however, I was able to find a similar copy at a thrift store downtown. So let's crack open this delightful guide together, see what we can find inside, to use as inspiration for a new series of illustrations. Flipping through this gorgeous collection of works from the Nouveau movement, I take note of imagery that captures my attention, styles that stand out, designs that complement the eye, techniques I dream of implementing into my own work. Now, you might be thinking, rifling through that book you attempted to steal and closely referencing the artworks within said book to use for your own artistic development begins to make this whole process sound a tad morally gray. I would counter that thought, however, with a statement about the present landscape of the internet. I'd offer that with all things considered, and in more ways than one, it's already the Wild West out here. So really, what's the harm? In a pantheon of legendary artists lending a metaphorical hand to mentor a passionate successor. To put it simply, my intent is by the end of this heist to have sourced a wealth of curated images as a foundation of capital to invest into more in-depth illustrations in the future. And seeing, as of late, how tough a place the Wild Web can be, I thought I'd share this resource along with you as well. So with all that out of the way, I invite you to hang out with Sandy and I, kick back, relax, and draw or watch alongside me. In my first illustration, I produced an arrangement of flowers. While drawing, I reflected on what makes the petals, leaves, and stems so appealing to me. I focused on recreating that sensation, as many of the great artists in this book did as well, with my own emphasis and inflection. Despite my insistence to frame this adventure as one of danger and thievery, I believe it's important to remember we're not taking these images one for one to use in our own reproductions. Rather, we're taking notes on the entire presentation, noticing the tricks, motifs, and visual languages that each of these artists employed to help their creations stand out. If creating a work of art is an exercise of both the conscious and subconscious mind, today I ask myself, what are the images I'm filling my head full of, and how will these resources follow me into the future? But for now, I feel good about this first illustration. If anything, a bit overwhelmed by all the potential I'm noticing for this project. So I think I'll take a break here and give all my ideas some natural time to develop. While I was gone, I listened to Yes No Question by Gia. It was a sweet album. I'd recommend a listen if you're into that indie folk sound. Nevertheless, I combined the photos from my walk with some of the imagery we've been working on and sent it over to them. They said they liked it and reached out about a commission for the deluxe release of their album. Perhaps my thieving days will be behind me quicker than I imagined. For the second piece, I created a leaf design which I found inspiration for on page 156. While I was chipping away on this design, I had fun pinching and stretching the page to get the points of each leaf as sharp as possible. In this illustration, my goal was to represent the tensions interwoven through the edges of overlapping leaves as they float aloft in gusts of the autumn breeze. As I neared the final hours of the drawing, however, I began to feel restless once again. At the moment, small mistakes and miscalculations in my work were beginning to build up on me. In retrospect, I believe these incidents were actually a benefit. It's been a recent goal of mine to let go of perfectionism and instead curate my mistakes into my own artistic personality. Call them happy accidents, call them stylistic, but at the end of the day, I truly believe we all have a unique way of making marks within us. And by consuming fine influences, practicing your skills, and pursuing personal development through experiences in your real life, you can become part of a larger adventure to create your own artistic language. While I'm on the topic of creative philosophy, I have one final idea I wanted to share with you before I go. I call it the drawing tree. something I thought of while drawing for this video. It's a way of conceptualizing a work of art. It uses the elements of a tree as a metaphor for the layers within a body of artistic work. The branches, for example, the most visually captivating portion of the tree, is where our relationship with an image begins. We could imagine the branches of the drawing tree to represent what is most visually captivating about an artwork, what catches the eye, what drives us to spend more time with the piece. If we're entranced enough by the branches, next our gaze might find its way down to the base of the tree. Here we can imagine the trunk as an analogy for the visual mood and plot of the piece. What does the structure of the work communicate to the audience? How do the fundamentals of design uphold the cosmetics of the branches? Finally, the last way we interact with the tree before we've digested all of its available information is by observing the roots. Most trees' root systems are obscured almost entirely by earth. Thus, we must use our critical thinking skills to imagine the parts of the piece which take place below the surface. In this way, the roots of a tree would closely resemble what a work of art implies about the artist, or what a deeper interpretation of the subject matter is attempting to communicate about the real world. To bring us to a close, if I could leave you with any message by the end of this video, it would be to think critically about how you approach your own practice. If you're going to steal, do it with your own best interest in mind. And most importantly,